Hello, this is Jay Goodis, co-founder and CEO of Tax Templates Inc. I am going to walk you through some of the details of TTI's Corporate Loss Carryback Worksheet. This worksheet allocates capital and non-capital losses from the current tax year to previous tax years. This template assumes that losses are carried back to the earliest available year and that capital losses are applied before non-capital losses. This worksheet is best understood with an example. Let's assume our client OPCO has a June 30th, 2015 year end. It has capital losses available of $30,000 and non-capital losses available of $50,000. We'll determine how much we can carry back and apply them to the earliest tax years. You can see in the ref column the specific cells in the corporate tax returns of each year to populate into this schedule. We'll begin by entering the details for June 30th, 2014 year end. We can then follow the titles and the references to fill out the key amounts for each year. So for 2014, let's assume we've got total capital gains of $10,000, which come directly from Part 9 of Schedule 6. We'll include taxable income of $18,000 directly from line 360 of the T2. And we'll assume that there have been no capital loss of previous years claimed in 2014. The next four rows are for capital losses or non-capital losses that have previously been carried back. We will assume those are all zeros for this example. We can then move to June 30th, 2013. Again, we'll enter any capital gains from Part 9 of Schedule 6. Let's assume $12,000. We can include our taxable income. We'll include $20,000. And let's assume that there were net capital loss of previous tax years claimed of $5,000. Again, we'll assume that the capital losses and non-capital losses, there have been no previous carrybacks. We can then enter the same detail for 2012. For 2012, we'll assume that there are capital losses of $10,000. We'll include taxable income of $4,000, and we'll assume that there have been no net capital losses of previous years from line 332 of the T2. Now that we have completed the inputs from the tax returns, we can now scroll down to look at the calculated loss carryback amounts. As we can see from the results, for 2012, we are recommending a non-capital loss carryback of $4,000, and this can be entered on T2 Schedule 4, line 903. For 2013, we're recommending a capital loss carryback of $2,000 and a non-capital loss carryback of $19,000. Again, here are the applicable lines to enter the numbers. And for 2014, we are recommending a capital loss carryback of $10,000 and a non-capital loss carryback of $13,000. Again, we see here our T2 Schedule 4, line 951, and T2 Schedule 4, line 901 of where to enter these amounts. If we scroll down to the bottom of the worksheet, we can then see our capital loss balance reconciliation and our non-capital loss balance reconciliation. This will show you the opening balances, the amounts claimed, and the ending balances for both capital losses and our non-capital losses. Many accountants are looking to estimate the receivable or payable as a result of the loss carrybacks, so we can enter those amounts here and reference them to our corporate tax continuities. For example, if we have a $4,000 non-capital loss carryback, we might expect that to generate a refund of $600. So we can put our receivable of $600 right here. We can fill in very similar details for the capital loss carrybacks and the other non-capital loss carrybacks that we've already completed. I'll just include here the estimated refunds under all of the cases. And these will tie in nicely again to our corporate tax continuity schedule. One thing I would like to show you is that you have the ability to adjust the capital loss carryback claimed and the non-capital loss carrybacks claimed. In these two rows here, we see reduction of capital losses claimed and reduction of non-capital losses claimed. You might like to do this because these balances might affect the RD2H, or perhaps we're looking to hold on to our capital losses but like to claim our non-capital losses. There could be various reasons for those decisions. If you'd like to do that, simply come over to the cell, and let's say, for example, I'm going to want to reduce our capital losses by $1,000 in June 30th, 2013. Simply enter the number and you will see that all of the figures updated appropriately. If you have any questions about using this worksheet, please feel free to email us at support@taxtemplates.ca.